All right, fastest 15 minutes in social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes anywhere. And my name is Judson Powell. All right, want to clean up the little Chris Rock mess again. Um, I'm jumping on this whole thing with the B word, and I guess so I guess I got to follow up about that because the whole thing with the B word. Okay, so the women are not that happy as far as Chris Rock using the B word. We're referring to uh, Jada, and so and I get that, but here's the thing, but it's like almost like she started it, and he was just giving his honest opinion. So if that's his opinion of her, fine. Do I think that's something that all people should do or all men should do? No, absolutely not. But I think this was a one-time instance, a one-time circumstance, and he was just, I went back and I watched it again, and I do get the whole that like the last like 8 minutes there was like, okay, yeah, you got to hand it to what he said because it was real. That's how he was feeling, and that's how he's felt. And he's kept this stuff in for an entire year, so I give him that, and also the fact that he did this live. This was not okay. Cut. All right, and you prepping the audience and you doing all this other stuff, and you got opportunity to do things when it's taped, but when stuff is live, they turn on that microphone or they turn on that camera, then you got to perform. And if you don't perform, then you're in trouble, right? Because and then the other thing is he got paid like a gazillion millions of dollars. I think somebody said $40 million. That's a lot of money just to go up there and basically tell that story. Now, as far as the comedy, I didn't think that the first part was all that funny, and I felt like, but I felt like I was anticipating something that I really didn't get. All right, so I was like anticipating like a different style of Chris Rock that we didn't get, but that's fine because everybody evolves as they get older. Everybody evolves as they get older, so they're not going to be exactly the same, especially when you get in that 50 in the 50s and stuff like that. Then you really get to a point where you don't really give a f about what people think. You really don't, because it's like, okay, if these people are not going to do X, Y, Z for me, then why should I care, right? And I think that this whole thing needs to just end. That was that. It's finished. It's there for prosperity and for eternity and everything. And I really think that when he got on the B word, he was more so referring, and there's another thing, he was referring to more so to Will, saying, well, that's a B move that you made, and to come up there and attack me to try to make yourself look good in front of your wife or whatever, and that I can't beat you. And, basically the reason why I didn't jump on you is because, I know I can't whip you. So because I'm a little guy, you're a big guy. You lift weights and do all that kind of stuff. And you played Muhammad Ali and all of this stuff in the movies. So I get that. I really do. I get it. So as my grandmother would say, doxology, meaning the end of the church service, right? That's okay. Anybody that went to church like forever, stayed in church all day, every day, forever, they know that. Okay. Anyway, so my next topic is, and I got to go in order. So my next topic is once again, and I hate to beat a dead horse to death, but I'm going to have to beat this horse because I've been thinking about a lot of stuff that people have been saying. And then I come across this video, and this girl is talking, she's an African girl, and she's like talking about how, how they have basically arranged and done everything, arranged and stuff. And so I'm thinking to myself the whole time, it's like, look at all of these different artists that are like gone, that are not, that they unalived them. You know what I'm saying? They unalived them. And I mean, we talk about like Whitney, we talking about like, like Prince and Michael Jackson and, even Luther. It's like, what happened to Luther? Luther just, bam, he was gone. It's just like, oh my God. But then you look at it, like these are some of the greatest catalogs of music that have ever been produced and everything. So we really got to think. But that takes me back to Beyonce. And so I wanted to talk about that again because, it's like Beyonce has literally been out here, and some people say since she was 15, some people say since she was 12, So let's say she's been out here since she was 15, right? That means that effectively she's been in show business like over 30 years. That's a long time. So if you don't get good and you're practicing and you're doing all this stuff, she's made radio, she's made TV, she's made movies, she's made videos, she's starred and headlined in big major concert tours and all that kind of stuff. And so to say that like she's a witch and all this stuff is crazy. And half of the stuff that she wears is actually African garb. And that's why I was bringing up the young girl, because she was saying, look, they set all this stuff up, and they look at all of this stuff while they're designing costumes and everything. And so but the stuff that she wears is legitimately West African. And or other parts of Africa, she's wearing traditional, like especially her headpieces. Her headpieces are traditional African headpieces. Those are that's our stuff. That's our ancestors. But somehow she's a witch and she's evil. But like I said, if you do something for 30 years, you should be good at it. Why would you go backwards? If you're doing something for 30 years, 30 years, I'm talking about 30 years, 30 long years, that's a long time, right? And if you're doing something for 30 years and then all of a sudden it's like people are telling she's not no overnight success. Think about all the stuff she did, Destiny's Child, all of that stuff. It's documented. She did not just pop up on the scene like casting a spell like, oh, I'm Illuminati and put me down, put me on. That's not how it worked out. And the same thing is true for Jay-Z. And if you say, well, and all the Christian people, he calls himself Hove and all of this stuff, he's trying to call himself Jehovah and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you really knew your scriptures or whatever, if you really knew your Bible, you would understand that you are God. That I'm talking about, these are Christian people. You are God. If you understood, if you understand the whole religion, where you came from, blah, da, 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 and you understand what's written in the scriptures, it's in there. Go study. Go to any search engine and type "ye are gods," and you get a couple of scriptures will pop up. So I'm just saying. So regardless how he interpreted it, that's how he interpreted it. All right. So he started calling himself Hove. I'm a god, and that's in fact that's what probably made him manifest the life he did. It's like Muhammad Ali, the manifestor. Muhammad Ali used to say, "What, I'm the greatest. I'm the best." Da, 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 da. And eventually, by him saying that so many times, it manifested. I know a guy who's a millionaire, and he used to walk around and he used to tell everybody, "What, I'm a millionaire." And eventually he wasn't a millionaire at first, but people started to believe that he was, and the next thing you know, he was. So that's why I try to say, and even, I could quote you things from scriptures and all that kind of stuff, but that's not even necessary, because you have examples outside of people who call into their own existence. They call into being their own existence, and that's what we try to tell you to do. It's like there's no, in spirituality, there's no like one size fits all. Everything does not go for you, but there are certain things that will go for you. All you have to do is be steadfast and do them. So you gotta think about the entire thing, and then boil it down. Look, when Jay-Z was coming up, okay, I was in radio at the time, and there was always like these at that particular point, when he was first on the scene, we had all of these festivals type concerts, and it was like Budweiser Superfest and Coca-Cola this and Pepsi this, and everybody was sponsoring tours and stuff like that. But a lot of times the opening acts and the stuff like that, they would get paid very little money. And Jay-Z was one of those dudes. There was always, I don't care what show it was, Jay-Z would come out and perform. Even and the other thing is, he would perform for people even if it wasn't his audience, and he would perform for free at certain times, because there were times when when you would go out and they would say, okay, you on the promotional thing, you get room and board, we'll give you food, and we'll give you a place to stay, or they might not even give you that, or if they did give you that, it was a cheap hotel or whatever, right? But you get a chance to appear up there, and they put your name on the commercials, right? So you're on the commercials, you're on the radio, and people are hearing your, and that's the other thing, when you're touring around, the radio stations are playing your records, right? Because you're on tour. So he went through that process. I saw it with my own eyes. So to sit up there and to be like, oh, like he's some type of overnight success or something like that, it is crazy. It took him a while. And then the other thing is, that what he manifested, and then look, and just like he was saying, look, out of his house, he done manifested Beyonce, himself, Rihanna, Kanye West. I don't know who else came out of that thing, but I could say that's 4 people right there that are billionaires. So the results are like, hey, whatever he said and whatever he did, it worked, and it manifested in reality. And do I look at him and think he's inherently evil? No. Do I agree with everything that he does now? Absolutely not, because there are some certain things that I think that he did that were, pretty much anti-black, but by the same token, I look at it as, hey, everybody has a right to do what they want to do. And that's why I broke it down to the whole thing about the free speech thing. We're losing because of cancel culture, and because of words like toxic masculinity and things like that. All the things that are going out in the passport brothers and cancel culture and all of the little colloquialisms that are coming out in this particular time and space. Some of them are harmful, because they're harming our right to free speech and free expression. Just like I don't agree with you, but I still would defend your right to say what you got to say. Because we all, and the other thing Black folks got to get in their mind is, we all are not 100% just alike. And we all have different views and different opinions and everything like that, because we're intelligent. But what we do have to do is figure out a way to get an agenda that we can all follow and that we can all be happy with, in order to get us out of arms of oppression and things like that. That's the important thing. But to sit up here and constantly be arguing about stupid stuff is dumb. What you need to be talking about is how to get these folks to give us reparations, so everybody can have some money, and everybody can buy some land, and everybody can do what they need to do. That is the end of the fastest 15 minutes. My name is Judson Powell. please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I love y'all.